As far as me know, long as me remember. If you're born and you grow up in a Jamaica, you know what nobody call you not informer. But you see me, very proud informer. Me not do it for myself, but for Jamaica. You see me, must be an informer. Me have to make the sacrifice to make the place safer. You see me, must be an informer. Me have a number for the sergeant, the inspector. You see me, must be an informer. And if me can't get this out, me call commissioner. Me an informer because me not support the crime. If you do the crime, do the time, pay the fine. Crime is mashing up this country and we acting like we're blind. We should have put a stop into this thing long time. So if me say a boy with a special or a 9, me go up on my phone, dial 119. Me give the operator all information. In face color closing.
Good afternoon and welcome back to another program of In the Know of the Law on Stealth FM, Jamaica's #1 radio station. Delrose Green is the name, and I am indeed a sergeant of police, and I'm stationed in this beautiful parish of Portland. I want to say thanks to everyone that is tuning into this program every Monday and Wednesday at this time. But before I say thanks to my individual parishes, I want to say thanks to our kind sponsors: Native Audio Stage and Lighting, Braham's Texaco, Task Property Appraisals Company Limited, bringing quality service to you. And also to our contributors, and that's Toya's Nails at shop number 6, Rosemary Plaza, Mount Bay, St. Thomas. And you can get her at 876-426-5066. I want to say thanks to everyone that is tuning to this program every evening and is supportive of same. To partake in this program, you can WhatsApp us at 876-453-1444. So all my listeners from St. Thomas, Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, Maypen, Clarendon, down there in Manchester, down there in St. James, over there in Kingston and St. Andrew, for the parts that can hear us, to the United States of America, UK, Canada, and everywhere else, we want to say pleasant afternoon to you all. And of course, to the persons who are listening to us via the internet, you're also, we're asking God to bless you and to thank you for continuing being a part of us. My engineer Cassidy is back with me, and so I'm very, very grateful for him returning to me safely. When I was last here, I had promised you that I'll be speaking to a gentleman, and he's definitely an immigration lawyer, along with other things. And as I speak to him, you'll hear much, much more about this gentleman who is very knowledgeable. Good afternoon to you, sir. Are you there?
Yes, good afternoon. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. And are you hearing me clearly?
I'm hearing you clearly. You're a bit low, but I'm hearing you quite well.
Are you on a speakerphone?
No, I'm on my regular home phone.
Okay. All right. I hope my listeners can hear, because I'm hearing you very, very low. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking to Mr. Merrick Lawyer, and he's an immigration, criminal defense, real estate, will forfeitures, and divorce lawyer, and he's all the way up there in New York City. Am I right?
You are correct. Yes, in good old New York.
Right. Well, we're going to be speaking basically about the immigration. Mr. Merrick, tell us, my listeners, a little about Mr. Merrick. Apart from that, you're very handsome, which of course they can't see your face, but I know your face. Apart from that, you're happily married. Tell us a little about Mr. Merrick Lawyer.
Sure. Thank you very much. I'm Jamaican by birth. I migrated to the United States almost 40 years ago, but has always maintained my contacts and roots in Jamaica. I've been practicing law now for about 27 years and practicing immigration law for 31 years. I'm also an adjunct professor of law in the fields of real estate and immigration law. And I also counsel 3 West Indian consulates and 2 West Indian prime ministers. And I'm also the attorney for a lot of the top reggae artists in Jamaica and actors as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bit about myself. I'm located in the Bronx, New York, and pretty much I'm licensed to practice immigration law.
Mr. Merrick, I'm not quite sure if you could speak a little louder. I'm not quite sure. The connection is not so good. Is it possible to... Pardon me?
As I was saying, I'm licensed to practice immigration law throughout the
I'm
world.
hearing you
As long as
much better now.
you hear me much better.
Yes, sir.
I actually just switched my ears from my good ear to my bad ear.
Go ahead, Mr. Merrick.
So, as I was saying, I'm also an adjunct professor of law in the areas of immigration and real estate law. And I've been doing that for a long time at one of the local universities. And I counsel three West Indian consulates, 2 West Indian prime ministers. And also I do a lot of work in the prisons with the Jamaican diaspora, individuals who are Jamaicans who have been incarcerated here in New York. I do a lot of work with them to make sure that their rights are being preserved and secured.
Yes.
So, in a nutshell, that's a little bit about my legal work here in this country.
I'm hearing you, but and I want you to keep your voice on a high pitch. For my listeners out there, could you just help me? Could you just WhatsApp to tell me if you're hearing Mr. Merrick loud and clear? Please send in your WhatsApp to 876-453-1444. Just tell me if it's loud, if it's clear, that we can continue. If not, we'll have to disconnect and reconnect on another line. But tell us, Althea and Kemoy, who have tuned in, thanks for tuning in. Please tell us if you're hearing Mr. Merrick loud and clear. Mr. Merrick, I always thought you were not a Jamaican, though. I thought you were not a Jamaican.
Are you serious? Are you really serious, or you're pulling my leg?
No, I'm not pulling your leg. You and I are very good friends. But for some reason, I thought you were like from another country, but you just love Jamaica.
I love Jamaica, and I'm from Jamaica, and I'll always be Jamaican no matter what. So I have been mistaken for a lot of things. Maybe because of my heritage, I've been mistaken for, maybe my accent is because I spend a lot of time in Trinidad. I spend most of my holidays in Trinidad. But no, I'm Jamaican, 100% Jamaican.
Okay, so Althea from Long Road say that she's hearing you loud and clear. And so all you have to do is to keep that Trinidadian Jamaican voice loud in the phone.
Okay. All right, no problem, my dear.
So you say you have practiced immigration, criminal defense, real estate, and other. You were saying, but you were not so loud at that time. Could you repeat it for us?
Sure, I do a lot of. Well, my first love, DG, my first love is actually criminal defense. I do a lot of drug cases, a lot of rape cases, a lot of gun charges, domestic violence. Now, the reason why I love doing criminal law so much is because it's a gateway to protect individuals who might be deportable because of the offense that they committed. So when you marry criminal practice with immigration practice, you have a better understanding as to the chain of events that could lead a person from committing a small petty incident or misdemeanor to being deported.
Yes.
Then I do a lot of immigration law and immigration deportation defense. I also do a lot of matrimonial, which is divorce laws, real estate planning, which would be your wills and your probate. And also, I am also very, very much involved in forfeitures. Individuals who have had their monies confiscated by the government,
Yes.
Whether on the streets or at the airport. My job is to go and get that money back from the government. So those are the branches of law which I really, truly enjoy doing.
Quite interesting. My listeners are saying that they're hearing you clearly. Come on, say you're to just keep speaking loudly in the mic and keep your voice at that level. So I have a whole team of engineers online helping me this evening, you see?
Very good.
We're here, and the program we're going to be doing, Mr. Merrick, I want to put you on the spot. I want to ask you respectfully if it could not be a one-off program, because speaking about immigration, especially with what is happening now with deportation, I'm quite sure one program will not do. And so immediately I'm putting you on the spot and asking you to do a number of programs with me to explain immigration and a lot of questions that I'm sure my listeners are going to want to ask.
You know, this is one of the ways in which I want to serve my country. And I have been given a special gift from the Almighty to be able to understand, grasp, and to be able to analyze the law. And it would be an honor for me to serve my country by helping my fellow Jamaicans and West Indians, of course, to understand the law, to be able to grasp it, to be able to fully utilize it, so that way particularly in immigration law, they can better cope with what is happening, better deal with it, and even avoid being scammed. And scamming is a big thing when it comes to desperation. So, DG, you've just put a smile on my face. I'm pledging myself now. I'm pledging myself to saying yes to your question to me.
Thank you very much. So with that out of the way, as I say, I want to start with what is happening right now. What are some of the main reasons a person get deported from the USA?
Okay, very good question. Now, in the United States, there are a number of reasons why people get deported. And I'm going to start with the very simplest reason, and I'm going to go into some of the larger reasons. The simplest reason, actually, would be overstaying on a visa and getting caught.
On a visitor's visa.
You get a visa, you get a valid visa, you come into the United States, and let's say you're granted a certain period of time, not to exceed 6 months. And you purposefully exceed the 6 months, and you are caught. You will be then placed into deportation proceedings, and you could either be deported or most likely given what is called voluntary departure. Now, voluntary departure is really a way under which the government says, look, we can reset the date of your departure. You can leave now. We will not hold it against you. And later on, you can apply for a new visa and come back.
Okay.
That's the simplest way a person gets deported. Now, let's move to the ranks. Let's go to the middle ways. The middle ways now would be assault. If you are involved in a fight that causes bleeding, causes blood to be shed, and then it is escalated to what's called aggravated assault, you can be deported for that. You can also be deported for DWI, that's driving while under the influence of alcohol, or DUI, driving while under the influence of something else, whether it's medication or marijuana, and there's an accident, and the accident causes harm to another human being or even to property of another, then you can be removed for that as well. Stepping up now, drugs. Selling of any type of drugs. It doesn't matter the quantity. If you're selling marijuana or if you're selling cocaine or other controlled substance, that becomes not only a deportable offense, it could also be a deportable unwaivable defense, which means that you might not be able to waive in the future to come back into the United States.
And just to be clear, are we speaking now about visitors, or are we speaking about green card holders or citizens?
Very good. A citizen, let's start with a citizen first. A citizen cannot be deported unless that citizenship was gained through fraud.
Okay.
Now, absent that, we're speaking about visitors and we're speaking about green card holders. And it does not matter how long you've had that green card. Now, the president has just introduced a new law which the Supreme Court held, I believe it was 16 days ago, that anyone who is trying to get a green card, anyone who has applied for a green card and is on welfare or any type of public benefits, or even uses their social security number while they're waiting to apply for their earned income credit, meaning filing for the tax benefits from their children, can be denied that green card and can also be deported.
Whoa.
Yes. The president also said through the Supreme Court that if a person has a green card and has applied for their citizenship and has been on public welfare, public benefits for more than a year, not only will they deny that citizenship, they could also revoke that green card.
Whoa.
Now, let's keep going further up the ladder. Arson, rape, murder, white-collar embezzlement. Those are all deportable offenses. And the catch-all that has no definitive meaning, the catch-all is a crime involving moral turpitude. What is a crime involving moral turpitude? Well, a crime involving moral turpitude is the fishing net that the government uses when they have nothing else to use against an individual to go after a person that they believe is dishonest, immoral, and pretty much misrepresenting material facts. So it goes after individuals that they consider to be liars and individuals that made false claim on their application for a green card, individuals that made false claim on their tax returns, individuals that made false claims on their mortgage application. These are now deportable offenses.
It is?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. If you have a green card, you can be deported because it's a crime involving moral turpitude. So there are a lot of practices that have been common throughout the ages that are now. Now, what I want to point out is that these are not new laws, DG. These are definitely not new laws. These laws are actually close to 24 years old. What happened 24 years ago? Well, President Bill Clinton became president for the second time.
Right.
And he introduced 3 laws that are now pretty much creating the backdrop for which we are witnessing right now with the new president in power. These 3 laws, one of them is called 3 Strikes, You're Out.
Okay.
That pertains to individuals that have 3 criminal convictions, 3 felony convictions, and pretty much once you do that, you're gone for life. It was aimed towards certain classes of individuals in the country. The president finally, I think about 6 years ago, President Bill Clinton apologized for that law. The second one that he did was called the Illegal Immigration and Responsibility Reform Act of 1996. And what that act did is it created the laws that we're seeing now, the laws of deportability, the laws that took away certain waivers from us to be able to waive those crimes. And then he created a very fancy one with a fancy name called the Anti-Terrorism and Effective Death Penalty Act. Anti-Terrorism and Effective Death Penalty Act. So this is what the current president is using now to be able to go through the courts and have moratoriums regarding not allowing certain classes of individuals to enter the United States from certain countries. So these laws are not new. These laws are now being enforced in a manner that has never been enforced before. So pretty much, yeah, go ahead.
You're saying, Mr. Merrick, if you are a visitor, if you have a green card and you commit any of these offenses and you're convicted and do the time or even a suspended sentence, then you're liable to be deported.
Well, you're liable to be placed into deportation proceedings. Whether you're deported or not comes down now to whether there are any benefits that might be available to you under the law, whether you qualify for certain relief from deportability.
Okay.
Right. So there are a number of waivers that might be available based on the nature of the crime, based on your ties to the community, based on your ties here, familial ties, and also based on good moral character, what you've contributed to the country. So yes, it could start a process against you, but there might be ways in which you'd qualify not to be deported.
I want to detour a little bit before I go in with the first break, my only break rather at 5:30. Explain to us, we hear the terminology windrush throwing around, and a lot of us don't understand what is this windrush. Could you explain to us what it is?
Sure. I'll be happy to do that. Now, when we speak about windrush, we have to go back into the 1940s during World War II. Now, during World War II, as we know, Britain was one of the allied countries, and it was fighting against imperialistic Germany. Now, at the end of the war, there was reconstruction to be done in England. And what England did was invited a lot of its colonists under the colonial powers to enter Britain on a promise that England would reciprocate, take care of them, and they would help to rebuild the country.
Right.
Now, the actual term windrush, this is so peculiar the actual term Windrush was actually a ship by the name Windrush, HMT Empire Windrush, which was a German ship, which was ferrying individuals during the war in Germany. And after the war, it was the first ship that took individuals under the new Reconstruction Agreement from Jamaica to England.
Mm-hmm.
So those individuals, very much like the people that came to the United States on the Mayflower, they went to England on the Windrush. So these Windrush individuals, our parents, our grandparents, people in the 1940s, at the end of the war, went to England to reconstruct, to rebuild, and to contribute as colonists of England. And those people now had kids and more kids. So now, because of the fact that they were given that name, the Windrush generation, we see now that their offsprings have been known as the Windrush generation. And now we're seeing what is happening to them more and more often under the new government in England.
So they are now, they were, a portion of them were removed, is it?
Well, what we're seeing is that under the new government and under the Brexit plan, the new government has now created its own rules that they're answerable to none anymore because they're not part of the European nation anymore. So because they're not part of the European nation, they don't have to get permission or conform to certain rules and regulations. And they're calling for the deportation, the mass deportation of West Indians, Jamaicans in particular, that have been a part of the criminal justice system in England. So if they've had a run-in with the law and they fell into the grounds, they committed crimes that were considered removable, and they were part of that generation. Now, the funny thing about it is, a lot of these Windrush individuals who would be now in their 90s, the original Windrush individuals, the original Windrush individuals would be in their 90s now, were actually not given British papers.
Oh.
They were not given British papers. Right? And because they were not given British, some of them were given if they applied for it. Only if you applied for it. But those were for those individuals that understood the process of applying for a British passport. But those who did not apply for it, they would not get it. So now that you could have been living in England for the last 70 years. You have your kids, your grandkids, your establishment, you're even pulling a pension. And a few years ago, you realized and recognized that if you stepped out of that country, you might not have been allowed back in because there was actually no records tying you to.
Yes. I'm going to be going on a break, but when we return, Mr. Merrick, we're going to speak some more with the deportation that is happening now, how possible it is for someone to return back to the United States of America or England, and how can one attain waiver after deportation if possible? When we get back off the break, I'm going to be asking you those questions and much more. Listeners, we're going to be asking you to stay with us. I'm quite sure Mr. Merrick is not going anywhere, and we're going to be doing a little business and get right back with you. Remember, if you have any questions, feel free to WhatsApp us at 876-453-1444 about any immigration questions you have. You can WhatsApp, and I'm sure Mr. Merrick will assist us best as possible. 876-453-1444. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with you after these messages. This time signal is brought to you by Braham's Texaco, 15 Arbor Street, Port Antonio. We remain open 24 hours every day for your convenience. The time is 5:30 p.m.
I'm tired of you on this pop down jalapeno now, you know. Watch there. We all run out of gas now.
But babes, me think the quarter tank could have carried from Kingston come to Port Antonio. Boss man, which part round here is the nearest gas station there?
Yeah man, right at the road man. Braham's Texaco right at the there.
So bossy, me can get one cup of coffee, one hot dog, anything for eat round here?
Lady, you know hear me say? Braham's Texaco, everything up there.
Braham's Texaco service station and convenience store. Located at Arbor Street, Port Antonio, Long Bay, Portland, 24 Queen Street, Morant Bay, Gale St. Mary. Proud sponsor of In the Know of the Law.
The flu ya mash me down, you know.
So wait, you don't know about Taj Pharmacy?
Taj Pharmacy, the friendly global pharmacy. We stock a wide array of items from makeup, medical, sundries to toiletries. We offer delivery service, conditions apply. Open every day, including public holidays. Monday to Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. Sundays and public holidays from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's Taj Pharmacy, located at 23 West Street, Port Antonio, Portland.
So what you say? Them do deliver too?
Of course them do delivery, but conditions apply.
Hardcore Twang Master Swag, the ultimate party animal broke-out drink.
Made from real Jamaican rum and fruit juice.
Flavors available: June plum, sorrel, fruit punch, orange, and pineapple.
Swag, like a party animal. Best consume over ice. Must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink responsibly. Contact us today at 876-348-6183 for more information.
At Knutsford Express, everything matters. It matters that our customer transportation officers are trained for 12 weeks before captaining their first passenger trip. It matters that your precious cargo parts on time and arrives safely. It matters that you enjoy the comforts and convenience of home. Because at the Knutsford, we move what matters.
Task Property Appraisals Company Limited is a licensed valuation entity that is committed to providing quality service to clients across Jamaica. We have over 10 years industry experience. Our track record of providing speedy service is complemented by affordable prices. We also work with commissioned land surveyors to meet your surveying needs and provide referrals to law firms. We're licensed as a real estate agent and offer real estate consultation. We also provide valuations for insurance purposes. We cater to residential and commercial customers, as well as those in the agricultural and industrial sector.
For more information, contact us at Shop 28, 2-4 Fort George Street, Port Antonio, Family Building. Call us at 876-410-9020 or 876-862-0509. Welcome back to the second and final half of In the Know of the Law. My name is Delrose Green. I am a sergeant of police, and we have been speaking to a gentleman who have been giving us a whale of information. And so we've been speaking to Mr. Merrick Lawyer, and he's actually an attorney at law up there in New York City. Mr. Merrick, you're still with us?
Yes, I am.
And at the end of the show, I'm going to ask your permission to give out your numbers.
Sure.
That anybody that wants to call in. Mr. Merrick, before we went on a break, I wanted to ask you, with the political climate being what it is right now in the U.S. as it pertains to immigration, what are your thoughts on attaining waivers after deportation?
All right. Thank you for that question. It's a very, very powerful question. Now, I must first start by saying that there has been absolutely no changes in the immigration laws for the last 3 years. As we know, immigration law takes an act of Congress. However, there have been changes in the enforcement of the laws, which is done through executive powers by the president, with the president, and from the president. Now, when a person is deported, what I've seen more and more often now is that in this particular world that we live in right now, with this particular government, there was once a promise of building a wall around the country on the southern borders. That wall has moved into the immigration offices, into the embassies, into the application processing, into the discretion. And discretion is a very dirty word in the hands of the wrong person.
Yep.
So what we're seeing is a political wall, an administrative wall being built. So the particular point that we're seeing right now is that not a lot of waivers are being granted at this particular point. However, waivers are still being granted based on the type of deportation the person was involved in the first place. Now, let's speak about visitors to begin with. If a visitor came here and committed a petty crime, such as maybe petty larceny for goods under $1,000, or he might have been caught with a little bit of marijuana for personal use, and he was adjudicated as a violator of the law as opposed to a criminal, meaning that he was not sentenced to a criminal sentence, but rather violation.
Mm-hmm.
And he leaves on time, and that is the important thing. If he leaves on time, eventually an attorney can go in and remove those charges, expunge those charges,
Mm-hmm.
and the person will have an opportunity, like anyone else, to go back and apply for another visa.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most surprising things that we often do is individuals who are caught and charged with solicitation
Mm-hmm.
of a prosecutor. If you understand the workings of the criminal court and you're able to negotiate a plea with the criminal court and the prosecutor, we are able to get individuals to leave on time, get a slap on the wrist, and after about a year or two, we're able to reapply for them to come back in the country as a visitor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, green card holders, if you were deported, DG, under a crime of moral turpitude,
Mm-hmm.
crime involving honesty, a crime involving misrepresentation, or murder, rape, arson, gun charges, especially if the gun was loaded, and also the sales of a controlled substance, it could quite possibly be a lifetime bar where you're not expected to ever be able to rehabilitate and you will not be allowed back in the country.
Right.
However, anything less than that, there's a beautiful thing that is happening now for the last 2 years. A lot of district attorneys now are now willing to reduce a past charge if it is a misdemeanor or a low-impact felony. They're willing to reduce it if it is creating deportability or if it has caused deportation. And once those charges have been reduced or dismissed eventually, then we can reapply for waivers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have been deported and you are told to leave the country and there is a 2-year ban or a 5-year ban or a 10-year ban or a 20-year ban, you have to wait that period of time.
Okay.
There's also other waivers based on humanitarian grounds. I'm working on one right now regarding a person who is in dire need of urgent medical attention.
Mm-hmm.
And also if you have a citizen or a green card holder family member who depended on you,
Mm-hmm.
and you are deported or deportable, there are also waivers available for you to be able to come back into the country. So it is specific to the act that caused the deportation in the first place.
All right, I have another question, but my listeners are actually filling my screens with questions. So I have a few questions for you. One person is asking how long a green card holder can stay out of the country.
That's a powerful question. Thank you for that question.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are rumors floating around that it's 6 months. In reality, it is 1 day minus a year. So 1 year minus a day.
Okay.
So you can stay out for 364 days at any one point. Now, this leads me into another quick discussion.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to stay out of the country for more than a year, my suggestion is to apply for a travel waiver.
Mm-hmm.
That travel waiver will allow you to stay out of the country for up to 2 years without penalty, without question. And if you choose to come back within the 2 years, it does not negate it.
Okay.
The reason is, as we know, we have to earn that green card, and if we're not using it for the benefits that it was intended to, we could lose it. Now, what do we mean by using it? Well, we have to pay taxes.
Mm-hmm.
In order to become a citizen, we have to accumulate 2.5 years of time within a 5-year period. We also have to do our regular reporting. Now, if in fact we don't do any of that, pay our taxes, and we stay out for more than a year, you will be placed into deportation proceedings or exclusionary proceedings when you arrive back at the airport.
Right.
So my suggestion My suggestion, DG, if you have to stay out for a while, one, apply for the waiver. Number two, make sure you have a letter from the doctor who's taking care of your granny because your granny really needs you. Or you have a letter from the principal because the kid needs to be in school at that elementary level to finish up the education. So when you're traveling back into the country, you can show that. The good news, however, in New York, judges are not quick to take away your green card for that reason. However, in Florida, they don't care one bit. They'll take away the color of your teeth if you allow them to. So know where you're coming to, know where you're flying into, know where you're landing.
Wow. I have another question. It's a two-part question. And that's why I say I'm going to give out your number afterward because this person, I think, probably need to speak with you. He said, I have a two-part question. Being in the H-2B program for over 10 years, is there anything in place to apply for a green card?
Good question also. So the H-2B visa is a visa that allows you to come into the United States to work. And you can work up to 2 years at a time, and you can renew it for a number of years beyond that. Now, there's certain H-2B visas that says that there's a foreign residency requirement at the expiration of the period. Now, what that means in simple English is, let's say that you applied for a work visa and you're here working with a particular company. Now, the visa itself has some language that says if you intend to migrate, you have to leave the country, go back home for 2 years, seek permission from your government that you would not be missed and you're not necessarily an asset to the country in terms of you leaving the country and giving you permission to leave. Then after the 2 years, you can migrate to get your green card. I would say about 40% of the visas have that legend on it. The other 60% does not. Now, the other 60%, my suggestion is the company that you're working for, they're the ones that's going to have to sponsor you in a capacity that is better than a non-skilled worker. So you want to make sure that you have the training, the experience, and the education that is commensurate with the type of job that you have, so that way, when the time comes, you can actually ask your job, ask your boss. Now, there are certain jobs that have waivers attached. Nursing, all Jamaican nurses, they would love to sponsor you. They'd love to give you a green card. They'd put you on the fast track.
Wow.
All legitimate chefs. The government...
I can go and change my profession.
There you go. In fact, if you're a nurse, a teacher, or a chef, you stand a much better chance than a doctor or a lawyer to get a green card on a fast-track waiver program that the government is subsidizing.
Wow. His second question, Mr. Merrick, was, he said that my visiting visa was recently revoked with no explanation. Is there a way to find out the reason why and how long before I can reapply?
Very good. Now, based on the transaction at the airport, I would know more, but I'm going to take a guess and say that it was revoked because of the amount of time the person travels into the United States within a period of time. Now, we look on a visa, and the question is, DG, you have come to the United States and you stayed 6 months, and you went back home and spent a week, and you came back to the United States. Well, are you telling me that somebody's really supporting you? No, man, you're here to work. Right? You're here to work. So I am making that guess. Now, the United States issues visas like any other country. A visa is a privilege. It is not a right.
Right.
And like any privilege, it can be taken away from you for reason or for no reason at all. What I've come to see is that when officers use their discretion at the airport, it is usually not challengeable because immigration authorizes them to use discretion as they see fit. So if they don't like the color of your shoes, and ladies and gentlemen, it is important to understand that immigration has the ultimate right to go through your phone, your tablet, and your computer. Make sure you're not acting the fool and playing the fool with information that should not be on your devices. Right? So, if it was taken for no reason, he can go back and apply for it. My suggestion, wait about 3 to 4 months so that it runs off. Which brings me to a tip, and this is the big tip for the day. Every week that I'm on, I'll give you a tip. The big tip for the day. Visas are issued twice a year to Jamaica. They're issued at the end of September to take effect October 1st, and they're issued at the end of March to take effect April 1st. The best time to go for a visa is the first 15 days of October and the first 15 days of April. All other times you're actually taking a chance. And instead of telling you that they have no visa, they'll reject you and say you don't have sufficient time.
Mr. Merrick, I want the person that just texts in a question, if you can call, feel free though to call Mr. Merrick, right, Mr. Merrick? And
Sure,
you can advise him. It's 718-519-6281. And at the end of the program, I'll give out his email address with his permission, of course. But it's 718-519-6281. I have questions of my own, but I have to facilitate my listeners. And so this person is asking, can she travel on her spouse visa?
Can she travel on an old visa?
No, spouse. Can she travel on her spouse's visa?
No. Visas are individualized. And if you remember back in the days when we were youngsters, you could add a child to your passport and take that child. Those days are done with.
All right.
Visas are individualized.
All right. The person that text me to ask me a question about the two boys in St. Thomas, please visit the nearest police station or the CDA office. It's not CDA again, but I don't remember the name off my head. Visit the CDA office or the probation department in your area and speak to a probation officer or one of the CDA child care officer immediately about the situation with those two boys. All right? I just cut to say I saw your question. Please speak to a police officer, one of the persons at CDA or a probation officer about those two boys. Very, very important. Let me get that out of the way. All right, so Mr. I was asking now, with the political climate being what it is, as it pertains to immigration, what are your thoughts on attaining the ability of Jamaicans to secure a visitor visa at this time?
Well, I'm going to give you my personal thoughts and some tips as to making sure that you kind of stack the deck in your favor at all times.
Right.
Visas are still being issued to Jamaica. There's nothing that has stopped the issuance of visa to the embassies in Jamaica, and that is under the law still permissible. So it's fair game to anyone that qualifies. Now, in order to qualify, you must not have a criminal record. You must be able to, and again, we spoke about April and October, in the best months to take your chance. You must bring with you a bank account that has your name on it. If you have a business certificate, letters from a justice of the peace or a counselor or other individuals that are of good character and standing, stating that you are a person of good moral character. And if you have a property title or a property deed, you can take that with you. If you have a car deed or a certificate of good standing from your local police station, and also marriage certificate and children's birth certificate. Try not to go to these travel agents without first making sure that the travel agents have a good track record of success, and make sure that you read all applications properly before you sign. Sometimes individuals will bolster your application by putting information down that might not necessarily be commensurate with reality. And for that reason, it will haunt you later on, because that could end up causing you to be charged for misrepresentation.
Right.
You also want to show that do not lie on any application. Be as straightforward and as truthful as you can be on any application. And what you want to do also is to show that you have sufficient ties that would cause a reasonable person to believe that you would not want to run off and leave your country. Now, those are some of the main things that we would need. My direct answer, DG, is that visas are still being sent to Jamaica. Visas are still being issued to Jamaicans that qualify. So I would tell you right now, it is as simple to get a visa as it is, because I'll tell you why. If visas are not issued by the embassies in a timely manner, the embassies will not be allotted that amount again, and another country will get it.
Right? Interesting. I have a question of my own that I wanted to ask you about before. Somebody's asked me to repeat the number. I'm going to give you the number and everything about him. Just give me a minute. But somebody's asking Mr. Merrick, being American citizen, traveling back to the United States, of immigration did not stamp your book. Is that a problem?
No. If you are a citizen of the United States, you have to go through a kiosk. You have to actually scan your passport, and that becomes the proof or the evidence that the government will maintain of your travels. So it is not a problem if your passport is not stamped. By the way, you just opened up a small issue that I have to address quickly. Citizens of the United States and green card holders, if you owe taxes to the IRS and you are neglecting those taxes, and you have not entered into an arrangement with the IRS to pay those taxes, upon your return to the United States, your green card or your American passport will be confiscated.
Wow.
And if you owe child support and you're not paying the child support, the point is not about owing, DG. The point is about not paying. You will be arrested and your passport will be confiscated.
We can't get that at Jamaica airport too.
They do it in Jamaica also?
No, I want them to do it.
Okay, well.
Especially the maintenance part.
Yes,
because
I am for that. I'm really for that.
A man will owe, Mr. Merrick, in our court system, a man will be ordered to pay $1,500 a week Jamaican dollars and have a whopping $400,000 owing, and he's traveling back and forth. Let me give you your number quickly and then ask you the last question, because I'm going to be running out of time. But I feel comfortable that you say you'll be back with me. His number is 718-519-6281. And I see you have a fax number here too.
Yeah.
No, let me just give out this cell phone number. And you take WhatsApp calls, right?
No. Cell phone number is not for the business.
That's why I make certain to ask you, because I know person are going to search for WhatsApp numbers. So it's 718-519-6281. And you can email it at Damar, DAMMARLAW 782@yahoo.com. I promise in the last minute that I will make certain to repeat the number. Only the USA embassy can issue a USA visa. Yes. I don't, Mr. Merrick, do I have to answer that? Don't it only the USA embassy can issue a USA visa?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
Definitely.
All right, I want to ask you this final question. You might have to continue on the next evening. But with the widespread of outbursts, Jamaica full of scamming, Mr. Merrick. And so I don't want the time to run out, because I know that there's persons out there going to be issuing some service with some good news. So with the widespread outbursts of scamming, can you share with us some techniques that persons can know to avoid being scammed by individuals claiming to be immigrant practitioners who can help you to go back to the USA when you get deported?
Sure. Now, thank you for that question. Now, remember, if you've been deported on a crime involving moral turpitude, don't waste your money. That's number one. Number two, there is no guarantee in the practice of law. So one of the things to look out for from a scammer is that they're going to guarantee a particular result. They're going to guarantee favorable results. Stay away from that. Number three, always seek a second opinion. Always do research. Take no one's word for it. Number four, seek out that person's professional credentials. We try to stay away from consultants because anyone can set up a little shop and call himself a consultant.
Oh, yes.
A consultant is not accredited with immigration. A consultant is not licensed by immigration. Therefore, there are no penalties and there's no punishment. So they're free to do whatever they want to do, and it's usually not that good. And they're not usually versed in law. The next thing you want to do also is do not sign any blank forms. None whatsoever. Number six, if you do not qualify, do not let them convince you that there's a way in which they can make you qualify. You're either in or out. There's no middle ground. There's no maybe. Number seven, they want all their monies up front in cash, all at once.
Be careful.
Yes, that is one of the big things. Number eight, they don't have an actual license, and you can only call them on cell phones at a certain time of the day. As you know, DG, the unscrupulous individual usually practices in the same manner. And if you are astute and smart enough to understand the manner in which they practice, we can get to them before they get to us. However, because of the nature of the time, now what I would like to do with your permission is to go into the topic again the next time we meet so that we can delve deeper into it and answer more questions.
I'm going to, the next time I catch you, which I hope is next week, I'm going to start from right there, Mr. Merrick. And so you can go back in it. And Peter Mackenzie said something that is very, very interesting and person should know. He said, don't pay anyone for a USA visa. Only the USA embassy can issue a USA visa. Because we scam everything around here, you know, Mr. Merrick. We getting very professional at what we do.
That's that.
And so what just came in my mind a short while ago was, even if you see a person advertised in a particular newspaper, any newspaper, don't take it for granted that because they have advertised in the newspaper that they are legitimate. Because the newspaper is actually offering a service for advertisement, so they advertise anybody that pay them to advertise them.
Correct.
So the newspaper don't have a responsibility to check out if you're legitimate when they're advertising. Am I correct?
You are 100% correct, EJ.
Exactly.
You're 100% correct and well stated.
And so, Mr. Merrick, I want to thank you for coming. I want to let me just slowly again repeat your numbers. So Mr. Merrick can be called at 718-519-6281. Somebody said me talk too fast. 718-519-6281. And he doesn't just do immigration. He does criminal defense, real estate, wills, forfeitures, divorce, etc. Right, Mr. Merrick?
That is correct. DG, what I'd like to end with by saying, it was a pleasure, and do not let your two worst enemies guide you. Your two worst enemies are desperation and frustration. Take it easy, slow down, get the right advice from the right.
Your two worst enemies are desperation and frustration.
Yes.
I love that. Mr. Merrick DeMar, you know, it's a long time you want you on this program, so you know that I catch you and I'm going to put a hold on you. Because I know there's a whole lot more things that we have to discuss and get persons to be in the know.
Well, thank you very much. Well, DJ, it's Portland I come from, you know, and Portland people know how to tie people. So here we are.
Thank you very much, Mr. Merrick DeMar. And I'm just going to just quickly say, he'll be back with me next week, Wednesday. Somebody want to know how much for a divorce, but I'm going to tell the person to call you and that you all can discuss that. So again, Mr. Merrick, I want to tell you thanks very much for being a part of this program. We look forward to the next program where we'll go much deeper in these conversations.
God bless you. Take care now.
All right. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been speaking to Mr. Merrick DeMar, and you can call him at 718-519-6281. He was so kind to come on this program and to give me an hour of his time. That's 718-519-6281. And speak to him about whatever problems you are having. All right, I promise to get him back here at another time. When the time allows him, I'll make certain that I make the link with him. I want to say thanks to everyone, for the persons who have sent in their questions. Thank you very, very much. The person who just asked how much for a divorce, if you could call him and ask him, I think he'll be able to tell you. And so we look forward to hearing from you another time. To my kind sponsors, Native Audio, Stage and Lighting, thank you very much. To Braham's Texaco Task Property Appraisals Company Limited, bringing quality service to you, thank you. To my contributor, Toya Niels at shop number 6, Rosemary Plaza, Morant Bay, St. Thomas at 876-426-5066. Thank you very much. Mr. Errol Barnes from Baltimore, USA, pleasant afternoon, and thanks for contributing significantly